guys, welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel Archituber. I am architect Vaibhavi and I make content related to architecture and interiors. If you are new here, please take a moment and subscribe to my channel below. And you might have seen from the title, today we are going to be starting a new series. The series is for the case studies and the famous buildings. We are going to be discussing about the different case studies and the different famous building all around the world. So please stay tuned for that. And so for the first video, we have the city of Chandigarh. Okay, this beautifully designed city and well planned city has been designed and very well planned by architect Corbusier. Okay, so in today's video we are going to be discussing about the city of Chandigarh. So without wasting more time, let's get into the video and let's discuss about the planning of Chandigarh. So, Jawaharlal Nehru once said, "Let it be a new town, symbolic of freedom of India, unfettered by the traditions of the past, and expression of the nation's faith in the future." In this video, we are going to be overlooking the historical background, the introduction of city Chandigarh, the first plan of mayor, the revised plan, and the invention of Corbusier, discussion on the sectors, road networks, capital complex, city center, and road network planning, also the concept of plan as a human body, and conclusions. So without wasting more time, let's get into the video. So as you know, Chandigarh city lies near the city Delhi in India. The city was extended by two seasonal rivulets, the Patiala Rao and the Sukhana, in the northwest and the southeast respectively. It extends in the northeast right up to the foothills of Shivaliks. The region experiences extreme in the climate. The temperature could go or rise up to 45 degrees in summer, whereas dropping to freezing point in winters. The direction of the prevalent winds is southeast to northwest in summer and northwest to southeast in winter. The Union Territory is Chandigarh. The capital is also Chandigarh. The language spoken in Chandigarh is Punjabi, and the area covered is 114 km square and the elevation is 350 meters. So now talking about the historical background of Chandigarh, since Punjab was divided into two parts, the capital was left in Pakistan. Therefore, the Punjab in India required new capital. Jawaharlal Nehru had envisioned this city to mark India's entry into the modern world, and it would represent India's clean break from the colonial rule of the British. The first master plan of the new capital was assigned to American engineer and a planner Albert Mayer with his closest assistant Matthew Nowicki until later he died in plane crash in 1950. So Albert Mayer has to give his duties from architectural control to Corbusier. So Corbusier was approached by Punjab government and the Prime Minister of India. Chandigarh was a bold experiment in modern civic design. Maxwell Fry, Janet Drew, and Pierre Jeanneret were also involved in this team of architects for the city planning of Chandigarh. The birth of Chandigarh has not only influenced the northwest region but the whole country in the matters of architecture and urban planning. So now talking about the first ever plan that was developed for the city Chandigarh by Albert Mayer and Matthew Nowicki. They both designed the neighborhood unit concept. This concept evolved from the neighborhood village community in urban context. They had very organic planning in terms of the grid planning, the fan-shaped plan. They had the planning done in between two boundary rivers. The government center was planned in northeast side of the city. The super block was accommodating 1500 families, 3 super blocks to make a district. Industrial area planned in southern east corner. Then administration area was also planned in northeast corner. 2 large parkland zones across the city was planned. Future expansions in the northwest across the plan, and after this planning, the assistant Matthew Nowicki passed in a plane crash. Okay, so Albert Mayer then decided to discontinue the master plan. After Matthew Nowicki's death, Albert Mayer decided to discontinue the plan, and the plan was then given or reassigned to architect Corbusier. So when the Corbusier was approached to make this revised plan, he had this conception of the human body as a plan. Okay, so the town was arranged planning as a post war garden city whereby vertical and high-rise buildings were dominating out, keeping stable the living habitats of the folks. The modular system was planned analogous of the human body. So the first thing was place of power, the head, which had capital complex. In addition to the heart, the city center, the sector 17 was there. The stomach had commercial areas, arms had university and industrial zones on the sides, and lungs had a leisure valley and open spaces, whereas arteries was a network of roads. Coming to the formulation of new plan that was done by architect Corbusier, so he kept the orientation of grid as it is. There was one off-centered axis. The grid of superblock increased in size to 1200 into 800 meters, accommodating up to 25,000 inhabitants. Within superblock, centralized market was replaced by continuous bazaar street across the block. Capital complex and High Court combined in one government complex. CBD area remained in the same. The shifted capital complex to higher ground. Two linear parks were replaced by total 6 letter by 8 each sector with its own green space around which houses are designed. V7 road concept. So as you can see, he had designed the capital complex in the foothills of Shivalik. Then coming to the city center, it was in the heart of the city. Then considering the industrial area and the educational area on the both sides and the leisure valley below the city center, and every area had their own open spaces. Now talking about the planning of the town, the human scale, the city of Chandigarh is planned to human scale. It puts us in the touch with the infinite cosmos and nature. It provides us with the places and the buildings for all human activities by which the citizens can live a full and harmonious life. Here are the radiance of nature and heart are within our reach. The sector, as you all know, the city of Chandigarh was composed in sectors. Each sector had 800 meters by 1200 meters, enclosed by roads allocated to fast mechanized transport and sealed to direct access from the houses. Each sector caters to the daily needs of inhabitants, which varies from 500 to 25,000 and has a green strip oriented longitudinally, stretching centrally along a sector in the direction of the mountains. The green strip should stay uninterrupted and accommodate schools, sports, fields, walks and recreational facilities for the sector. Vehicular traffic is completely forbidden in the green strips where the tranquility shall reach in and the curse of noise shall not penetrate. So now let's discuss about the V7 road network planning. Le Corbusier's traffic system followed Mayer's lines but was more elaborate. He called it Le Sept Voies de Circulation or 7 V's. The roads of the cities are classified into 7 categories known as the system of 7 V's as below. Okay, the horizontal lines that you can see along the plan is the national highway connecting the Chandigarh with other cities like Ambala, Kharar and Shimla. V2, they had major avenues with important institutional and commercial functions running alongside. V3, they had corridor streets for fast moving vehicular traffic. A sector is surrounded either by V2 or V3. V4 is for bisecting the sectors. V5, roads meandering through the sector giving the access to inner lands. V6, coming off the V5s and leading to the residential houses, and V7 was for the intended for pedestrian movement and run through the middle of the sector in the green areas. V8 was to run parallel with V7s for the bicycles. So coming to this sector planning, you can see there are shops, schools, healthcare, hotels and schools. Okay, so V4 is your intersecting road. As you can see, so in this plan you have government housing, then healthcare, shopping sectors in blue, then the residentials in yellow to orange shades. Okay, and the pink one is your cultural building. Okay, so total 30 sectors which had 24 residential, 70% buildings private, autonomous unit including housing, schools, shops, recreational spaces, 3,000 to 25,000 accommodating capacity, surrounded by high-speed roads, bus stops every 400 meters, no pedestrian needs to walk more than 10 minutes. The criticism about this planning was it was self-contained sector, all essential services within walking distances, sectors provided safe space for children, safe yet boring, confusing streets, discouraging place to go for walk, un-Indian yet inspiration for architects, lack of characteristics like street culture, excitement of Indian cities, noise of Lahore, and intimacy of Delhi. So now coming on to the housing. In Chandigarh, lower category residential buildings are governed by a mechanism known as frame control to control their facades. This fixes the building line and the use of the building materials. Certain standard sizes of doors and windows are specified, and all the gates and boundary walls must conform to the standard design. This particularly applies to houses built on small plots of 250 square meters or less. While they are allowed certain individuality, the idea is to ensure that the view from the street which belongs to the community is one of order and discipline. A person building a house in Chandigarh must employ a qualified architect, and the design is submitted to the chief architect for approval. Particular scrutiny was applied to residential buildings constructed along the Uttar Marg, those abutting the Leisure Valley, and along certain V3 roads. Now talking about the commercial buildings. All the buildings located in the city center and commercial or institutional buildings belong to the architectural controls. This system of the city center is based on a grid of columns, fixed 5.26 meters, shuttering pattern on concrete, and a system of glazing or screen walls behind the line of column. The interior planning is left to the owners, and in the exterior, certain variations are permitted to give variety to the architectural composition. Along the V2 roads, other types of treatments have been evolved for facades. All commercial buildings and all the buildings constructed along the V4 roads in other sectors are also used in strict control. For shops, complete designs have been provided from the inception of the city. Now let's start with the educational institutes. An entire zone, Sector 12 and Sector 14, has been designated as institutional area, and the institutes for higher learning in the master plan, like postgraduate institutes for medical education and research, Punjab engineering colleges, Punjab University, etc. Coming to the industries, an entire zone has been designated as industrial area in the master plan. Site for the industrial area was chosen according to the prevailing wind direction. The wind blew away the smoke from the industries and it could never enter the city. So now coming on to the landscape area. The landscaping of this capacity is based on careful observation of the vegetation of India. Selected ornamental trees, shrubs and climbers have been planted according to the color schemes to beautify it. In future planting and replacements, these principles must be kept in view. There should not be any hazardous replacement so that the avenues retains their harmony and beauty. Now discussing about the Leisure Valley and the lungs and the open space. The Leisure Valley 8 km long stretch along a seasonal rivulet is a green sprawling space extending northeast to southwest along a seasonal rivulet gradient and was conceived by Corbusier as a lung of the city. Apart from the large public parks and special botanical gardens, it houses series of fitness trails, amphitheaters and spaces for open air exhibition. Now talking about the capital complex. Chandigarh Capital Complex houses the seat of government. Initially it served as the seat only for the government of Punjab, but now it has the headquarters of both government of Punjab and Haryana. The capital complex comprises of architectural masterpieces like the Secretariat, the High Court and Assembly Building. Okay, and it has that one giant metallic sculptures of open hand. It is the official emblem of Chandigarh. In the next case study, we will be discussing about the capital complex and the planning and designing of capital complex. So the conclusions: technology should be a part of planning process. City as settlement of community cannot be standardized as the multiple of generic like sectors. New city planning should be establish like relationship of the site with people and their roots who put soul to the city, otherwise it will be a dead city. People must be given expression in terms of planning and designing where they live and where they work. Urban character can only come out of collective will of people. Icon status is not achieved by the city due to designers' vocabulary, it is achieved by the adaptiveness of people. And yes, I hope you found this video helpful, and if you do, you know the drill. Please like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel below. Share with your architecture student friends, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, please take care and thanks for watching. Please do subscribe. Bye.